Let's Talk Ministry with Pastor Dennis Martin, where we talk everything and all things ministry.
Well, hey, everybody, it's Pastor Martin, and it is Wednesday, and it is the night that we talk ministry. Grateful to have you with me on tonight. We're blessed and favored of God to yet be in the land of the living, and God has been so good and so kind to us, and so we're grateful for you being with us on tonight. Do me a favor as you're coming in, please let me know where you may be coming in from or where you may be tuning in from. I see you, Sister Adams. God bless you. Thank you so much for joining me on tonight. And again, we're going to be getting started very shortly and talking ministry. And I know the Lord's going to bless us as we're doing so. Let me, for just a moment, say to those of you that tune in, those of you that are watching, of course, if you've been around and you've seen things you've seen on the last couple of days, we've lost some tremendous people and individuals and people that have played certainly had an impact in my life. On last Saturday, this past Saturday, we lost Bishop Quincy Lavelle Coswell, and he was to be one of our presenters, a dear friend and big brother of mine, and certainly we're going to miss him. And then I got a call on yesterday, and Bishop Major Callahan, all the way from Lake Placid, Florida, passed on yesterday. So we're praying for him and praying for his family. And so we're grateful just to have to be in the land of the living. We're praying for those persons. Let me say that they have made arrangements before I get started tonight. They have made arrangements for Bishop Coswell. And so here is the information. On Tuesday, January 21st, there'll be a public viewing from 12 noon to 8 p.m. And then on Wednesday, January 22nd, the body will lie in state from 9 a.m. to 10, and then at 11 a.m. we'll begin the homegoing celebration for Bishop Coswell. And so certainly we want to be mindful and continue to pray for this family and pray for Covenant and pray for them that the Lord would bless them and sustain them. And I believe that if we pray that God would do just that. And so let's keep them in prayer. Well, tonight I want to talk to you, and I'm not going to be long tonight. I know we talk ministry on Wednesday nights, and those of you that are watching this live, this is going to be for you. And then those of you that are watching it later, it's going to be for you. I need you to do something for me tonight. I'm going to do something for you. You know, we're getting ready to have, and Bishop Coswell was going to be one of our presenters. We had talked about this for a long time, and we were getting ready to launch it. And we're getting ready to do the conference that we're going to have is called Breaking the Silence. Breaking the Silence. It's on February the 8th at 10 a.m. here in the city of Atlanta. And we've got those that will be presenting on that day, and it's going to be a blessing. And so tonight, we want to talk about the conference because many have inquired about it. Many have said to me, we want to be a part of the conference. We want to be a part of what's taking place. And so I want you to be able to sign up for it. And tonight I'm going to do something. I heard the Lord today, and I'm going to share with you what I heard. And we're going to do something in just a moment. And I know it's going to bless those of you that are in ministry, and it's going to bless your life as we do this, as we're sharing on tonight. One of the things that I've always said that I've had people that have invested in my life in early ministry. My uncle invested in me. I had others that invested in me, men of God, women of God that gave me instructions and sat down and talked with me. And I've said to you on many occasions, I've had people to do that. I've had people to share with me. I had the late Bishop Patterson to do it, my late uncle to do it, Bishop E.C. Bishop Reams to do it. I've had many that have just come along and shared and poured into me, and some things that I avoided in ministry because they were there as a listening ear. I was able to vent, I was able to share and say things. And so those things happen, and I was blessed and favored of God to be able to have those persons in my life. And so as we're preparing for the conference, as we're preparing for this conference on February the 8th, I want to say to all ministers, those of you that are in ministry, in any capacity of ministry, whether you're a pastor, whether you're associate pastor, whether you're a praise leader, whether you whatever part of ministry, especially if you're in the forefront and stand out in ministry, I want to encourage you and I want to invite you to be a part of the Breaking the Silence, the one-day conference, where we're going to come and those that will be presenting and talking, we're not coming to get in your business, but we're coming to share our business to let you know how we overcame many things. And we'll be dealing with a lot of subjects and a lot of topics that I know will bless you and move for you as you are being a part of the conference. Because here's the thing, many times in church, we do and we wear the mask and we play the role a lot of times of things. In other words, we hide behind a mask. Sometimes we're hurting, but we hide behind spiritual masks. We've got masks on where we don't really just come out and be honest about things and don't really share and talk about things. And so we don't do that. And we sometimes try to struggle through our hurts and our pains and disappointments. But because we're the ministers, because we are those in front, we don't want anyone to see anything going on, but we struggle in suffering in silence. But we don't have to do that. God has others. He says to us, like he said to Elijah, he said, I've got 7,000 that haven't bowed their knees to Baal. Well, Elijah didn't know that he had 7,000 that hadn't done it, but all he knew is how he was feeling at that moment. And sometimes we feel a certain way at the moment. We feel a certain way at a certain time. And so we sort of deal with whatever it may be while we're feeling that way at that particular time and at that particular moment. And so I want to say to you that many of us, as we are dealing and as we're dealing with certain things at certain times. We're dealing with a lot of things. And so it is up to us to understand that even though we're saved and we're spiritual and we're leaders, that sometimes we got to remember that we're human and we suffer things like others. We suffer and go through things like others also. And so what we have to do is understand that sometimes we need an outlet. Sometimes we need a place that we can go. We need a place that we can sit down. We need a place that we can be a part and have that time that we can hear that there's somebody else that may have been through or going through the same thing that we are going through that can help us. And so what I want to do is I'm going to tonight, for those of you that want to be a part of the conference, Breaking the Silence, the one-day conference, I want you to register now. I made it easy for registration, and we had an event or something that was going on the latter part of last year that we had to do, and we had to raise money for, and we raised money, and then there was some money that was loaned to us, about $3,000 to complete what we had to do. And when I called back to talk about that particular loan and to pay it, the person on the other end said to me, I've heard the voice of God, and God told me to tell you that you don't owe me a dime. Your church doesn't owe me a dime. All of it's yours. It's paid in full. Well, I could have pulled on the side of the highway on 285. And they said, the Lord said, it will come back to me because of my obedience. And I want to say to you that tonight, I was praying before I came on live, And the Lord said to me, I want you to open this up. I want you to make an investment in those in ministry. Make an investment. And whether you're watching this live or on delay, I want you to make an investment in those in ministry. And I want you to allow them to register and come to the one-day conference. I want you to, don't worry about no fee, no money. I want you to register and let them come. It's not a money grab. This is not about money. This is really about helping those that may be suffering. And I've got, others that have pledged and others that have said we're going to give and be a blessing to the conference, and I really appreciate them. But for those of you tonight, if you're watching me live, if you're watching on the replay, today is Wednesday. Between now and Friday, and I may extend it, I don't know, but between now and Friday, all you've got to do, if you want to be a part of the conference on February the 8th at 10 a.m. here in Atlanta, especially if you're locally, on the screen you see the information, and on the screen you see it, and it says there, Breaking the Silence, the one-day conference. Register now. The only thing you need to do is get your phone in your hand right now. You don't have to wait. You can do it right now and text the code BTS 2020 QC to the number 833-463-5980. If you do that, you will be registered today. It will register you today. Not only will you be registered, but you'll get a reply from your text, and then there's one more small step that you've got to do. It doesn't involve money. You do that, and you will be registered, but you have to register so we'll know who's coming. Seats are limited, so we'll know who's coming, who's going to be there. But I want to invest in every minister, every preacher, every pastor, associate pastor, praise leader, worship leader, whatever your faith, whatever you do in ministry, I want to invest in you, and I want to do it tonight. And so all you have to do is on the screen, you see the information. All you've got to do, Breaking the Silence, the one-day conference. Register now. Just go and text the code BTS 2020 QC to 833-463-5980. I want you to do it. We're going to be dealing with a lot of different things that most of the time you don't hear in church talked about. Church, we have somehow got into the place sometime where we sweep stuff under the rug and we try to hide it. This is not about hiding anything. Sometimes we sweep it, and we don't like to have certain conversations because they're not always, I wouldn't say pleasant, but sometimes they're painful, and we don't like to talk about it, especially sometimes as leaders. So we're going to deal with that. We're going to talk about it. We're going to we're going to talk about divorce. I know some people said there's no divorce in the kingdom of God, and I got you. I understand that. They said there's no divorce, and we're not promoting divorce, but we have to be honest, and we have to deal with reality. Even in church and even in ministry, divorce has taken place. Now, there are those that have been married for many, many years, never been divorced. I've celebrated 40 years, December 26, 2019, 40 years. Amen. Thank God for 40 years. But there are others that don't have that testimony. There's some that they've been divorced. And we need to talk about, how do you deal with divorce in ministry? And someone's going to deal with that, not from a book, but they're going to deal with it from experience and how to deal with it. And so that's going to be a part. We're going to talk about how to make transition when it comes to ministry. We're going to talk about family and ministry balance. Many people in ministry, they save the world, but they lose their family. How do we deal with that? How do we cope with that? Then we're going to talk about how to cope when you lose it all, when you have lost everything. How do you deal with that? What do you do? And so those are the things that we're going to be dealing with. Those are the things we're going to be sharing. And so I want you to be a part of it. I want you to be a part of what we're going to be doing February the 8th at 10 a.m. at Life Enrichment Ministries. And that information we're going to give you, but I want you to sign up, do it, register. It's free. You don't have to worry about a fee. It's one day. Just text the code BTS 2020 QC to the number 833-463-5980. And I guarantee you that it will be a blessing. This conference will bless your life. It's only one day. It's not a whole day. It's not a whole week. It's not 2 or 3 days. It's one day. And this is your opportunity to be a part. Those of you, if you know others that may need to be a part of this, then share this with them, or take the information and share it with them that they can be a part of this one-day conference, Breaking the Silence. That's right, breaking the silence. We've had too many pastors commit suicide. We've had too many pastors to not only commit suicide, but we've had too many that have just walked away from ministry. And I want you to understand, those of you that are watching me and dealing with ministry, I know some of you are supermen. I know some of you are Wonder Woman. Amen. And I understand all that. But I want to tell you, sometimes in trying to be supermen and superhuman, we got to understand that sometimes the kryptonite can be in the room, and it can pull your strength. And if God don't help us, and if we don't even get an outlet to talk about and discuss some things, it may get us to a place. I see you, Brother Bullock. Thank you. Please help me promote this and push it. Bring some people with you. And so we have to understand that this is important. This is not something, again, to get in your business, but this is something that can help us. Thank God for those that I had an opportunity to talk to in ministry, to share things and be able to bounce stuff off and talk about how I was feeling, and they would say something back to me. I have preachers all the time call me and said, I'm going through this, and I'm dealing with this, I'm dealing with that. This is the time that we want to help people. This is the time that we want to be a blessing. Hey, Pastor Johnson, this is the time that we want to be a blessing. And so I want to encourage you. Again, the Lord told me I want you to invest in ministry, invest in ministers. And I just have to obey him. I do. So Breaking the Silence, the one-day conference, you can register right now. Get your phone in your hand. While I'm talking, go right there, go to where you send texts out at, and text that particular word, that particular code, BTS 2020 QC to 833-463-5980. Today is Wednesday. I want you between now and Friday. I want you to do it, but some of you need to do it right now. Those of you that are watching on replay, you need to do it. I need you to do it quickly. I want you to sign up. It's free. There's no charge, but we're going to be dealing with some things, and there are many more subjects that we'll be dealing with, and it's going to be a blessing to you. I promise you that it will be life-changing. I promise you. We don't have any preaching. We're not going to show you how to preach. We already know how to do that. We're not going to talk about how to do it, Brother Bullock. You did it earlier today. God bless you. We're not going to talk about preaching. We're not going to show you how to structure a sermon. We know how to do all that. We're not going to tell you how to grow your church and all that. We got all that going and covered. What we're going to talk about is how we've got to deal with those silent places where we're suffering in silence, where we're dealing with things and dealing with divorces, dealing with things that are going on in our lives, stuff that you just probably can't talk about with anybody, but we're going to talk about it. Many of us have been there. I've been in ministry 43 years, and out of 43 years, 40 of those years have been full-time ministry. So I'm not a novice. I didn't pop on the scene yesterday. I didn't come into ministry last week. I've been here a while. And I'm not talking about just coming in. I've been here a while doing this and all over the world. I've seen things. I've seen those at the top, and then I've seen them hit the very bottom. I've seen people that had big churches, big structures, and you come back, and within a year or two, there's hardly anybody there, and you wonder what's going on. And sometimes it had nothing to do with them being immoral, or nothing had to do with them being where they were with the members or in a scandal. Sometimes they just say, I can't do it anymore, walked away. The pressure was too much for them. And this is why we're dealing with people that are dealing with strokes and everything else. Sometimes this pressure is too hard. We need outlets. We need somebody to talk to. And I know you can talk to the Lord, but sometimes to have somebody else that can share with you, pour into you. None of us, whether we believe it or not, are to the place that we don't need somebody else to pour into us sometimes. Every one of us needs somebody to pour into us at times. And so I want to encourage you again, go now, do it now, don't wait. Breaking the Silence, the one-day conference, February the 8th, 10 a.m., right here in Atlanta. I want you to register now. Text that code BTS 2020 QC and text it to 833-463-5980. And I guarantee you it will bless your life and your life will never be the same. Thank you so much again for joining me. I want you to know that I'm looking forward, and we got those that will be sharing, and we're looking forward to sharing. You got Apostle Darrell Winston, Pastor Liza Hickman, myself, Pastor Quinn, Coswell II is going to be sharing, and this is going to be something that I want you to be a part of, especially those in ministry. Someone asked, do I have to be a pastor? No. If you're in ministry, just getting started, if you're coming up in ministry, even if you're not suffering in anything and you got everything together, you need to come for the mere fact that you never know what you're going to have to deal with at another time. And so if you come, you're going to hear something that will probably help you further down the line. So I want you to be a part. The Lord bless you and the Lord keep you. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Please do me a favor. Share this with somebody. Take this information, pass it on to someone that you know may need this, that they will receive it, and it can be a blessing to them also. We thank you and we thank God for you on tonight. And I hope that this is coming through. Sometimes look like these computers are doing a little something. So hopefully this has went through. If not, I have to do and come back another time and do it over. But the Lord bless you and the Lord keep you tonight. Please let's remember and thank God for the Bishop Quincy Lavelle Coswell that passed away. We're praying for Covenant. We're praying for his family, and we're praying for those that his ministry touched their lives. We're praying for them, and we want to honor and his life and celebrate his time of sharing 44 years. He pastored in this city, and we thank God for his life and for his ministry. The Lord bless you tonight. The Lord keep you is my prayer. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for joining Pastor Martin. Visit us at www.dlmartin.org or email us at rrcdmartin@gmail.com.